Shu is an adventurous and impulsive young man who lives in Talta village and loves everything mechanical. His friend circle isn't really the biggest of all, but they still enjoy his antiques. The town is peaceful and quiet, but then Zola and Jiro, two mysterious warriors, arrive, all ready to disturb the peaceful life everyone is leading. But they are the least of their troubles as the village is attacked by the Grand Kingdom afterwards. All they want is to rule the world as they apply the power of shadows and machines alike. To protect his village and save the ordinary mundane days of his peaceful life, Shu, our protagonist, awakens the powers lying dormant within him, the powers of the Blue Dragon, a shadow capable of achieving the impossible with its monstrous strength and power. But it gets out of control and hurts his friends, so he decides to go on a journey and face difficult opponents while training his shadow so that he can control it. Episode 1. This is the story of dreams. This is a story of ambition. This is a story of a young boy who is easily charmed by anything and everything. This is the story of a young boy named Shu. The boy is so naive and easy to please that he started dreaming of becoming a night master just by hearing the villagers talk about it. But he isn't satisfied by just hearing about his appearance in the village, so he goes to find him and sees him in person. But on his merry way, he butts heads with two travelers. They go by the names of Zola and Jiro. Being boys, Shu and Jiro naturally start arguing and fighting, but Zola interrupts, completely taken in by her presence. He is sure that she's the person he's looking for, the Night Master. But when he asks her about it, she quickly denies it and in fact asks a counter question, something that will resound in the boy's mind for a long time. What will you do when you gain power? The travelers then start doing what they came to do despite the delay, thanks to our flamboyant boy. They investigate the nearby ruins which lie on the outskirts of the village. But just then, there's a twist in the tale as the village gets attacked by the Grand Kingdom, a bunch of power-hungry people who are dead set on conquering the entire world. They start abducting children, and Shu naturally asks the travelers to help him save the village since they appear to be quite strong. But Zola isn't willing to get involved in any of their business. This leaves Shu with no choice but to stand up to the people invading his homeland alone. But bravery alone doesn't win you battles, and that quickly is proven as he is unable to do anything to the soldiers owing to their overwhelming strength. But hope still remains with our boy as Zola arrives on the scene and starts fighting on his behalf. The commander then summons a shadow to quickly finish things off, and the battle continues further. She also summons her own shadow, a winged purple-furred monster who she refers to as Killer Bat. The two of them fight it out, but some stray attacks fly the other way and are about to harm the innocent and helpless villagers. But being the kind of person he is, Shu rushes in to do a sacrifice play, but then remembers Zola's words. This leads to him summoning his own shadow. Episode 2. The shadow he becomes is called Blue Dragon, and with its help he is able to save the villagers. However, things don't go quite as planned after that, as the shadow goes out of control and starts destroying buildings and killing soldiers left and right in a blind rage. This calls for some drastic measures, and that's why Jiro summons his own shadow, Minotaur, to mitigate the situation and subdue Blue Dragon as Zola is busy cleaning up an entire squadron's worth of people. Thanks to their efforts, the crisis is averted and the village is finally safe, both from the Grand Kingdom and the Blue Dragon. It is then that Shu regains consciousness and Zola fills him in about his shadow and tells him about their history, mentioning the 7 Soldiers of Light along with the ambition of the Grand Kingdom to dominate the entire world by making an army of shadows. Cutting to the Grand Kingdom, we see the man behind everything, the leader of the army and the man with the ambition to take over the entire world, Nene. We see him abducting children while Zola is busy convincing Shu that since he possesses a shadow, the army will keep coming back to abduct him, endangering the lives of many innocent villagers including his own. But Shu, unable to handle the pressure and responsibility, crumbles under it and gets depressed, roaming aimlessly until yet another army from the Grand Kingdom attacks his precious village. Zola once again saves the day with her fighting prowess, but this does strike the chords of Shu's heart. The next morning he decides to accompany Zola and Jiro for the sake of his village and himself. They however are also followed by Kluke, his childhood friend who joins them later on. Episode 3. And so the journey begins for this new ragtag team of people with vastly different personalities that don't really seem to complement each other. Since Shu needs to control his shadow so that he doesn't hurt his friends or people he cares about, the next time it goes out of control, he begins to train with Jiro. Despite their clashes and petty rivalry, they continue to try to better themselves. Zola points out a hole in Jiro's style. She tells him that he leaves himself open to attacks as he powers up. She further points out that powering up reveals his weak spots. Now, on Nene's end, he sends another minion of his to attack the group. His name is Dolsk, a red-haired shadow user. He attacks the group with his ogre shadow and attempts to end the story then and there. Jiro defeats him, and so they all live to see another day. The party then arrives at a ruined city. Episode 4. The gang tours the ruined city and tries to investigate what went wrong there. When they finally find a mecha robo and try to look through its memories to find out what happened, they are attacked by a yellow elf-like creature named Maru Maro and his shadow Saber Tiger. Contrary to his rather decent appearance, he's a big pervert, and he pinches Kluke's boobs only to comment that they're quite small. He angrily tries to grab him, but he jumps back and lifts her skirt up. This really unsettled Jiro and Shu. He then asks asks her if she has any other panties since he quite likes these ones. But after a lot of struggle and back and forth from everyone, he's finally grabbed by Killer Bat. But he manages to escape and steals most of their stuff. The group then tries to figure out how to find him, and they come up with the so-called brilliant idea of using Cloquet's panties as bait. And the surprising part is that it works, and the pervert is finally caught by Zola and Killer Bat. He then angrily blames them for destroying the city and reducing it to such a sorry state. But everyone finally convinces him that they are not the culprits. Now that the misunderstandings are clear, they free him and he gets back to looking for the assailants. And being a useful creature, he manages to find the captured citizens and the twin shadow users named Ivanov and Gustav, who are responsible for destroying the village in the first place. He challenges them to a fight and is then joined by Shu and the others. One of them used a shadow focused on attacking while the other one specialized in defense. But against sheer numbers, they decided to retreat. In the end, Maro Maro joined the crew as he now trusts them and is thankful for their help. Episode 5. Now that they have dealt with the rather immediate threat of the twins, they shift their focus to freeing the citizens from the fortress they are held captive in. So the team assaults the fortress, but a blonde general with a scar on his face stands in their way. His name is Logi, and he seems to have some history with Zola as well. Zola and Killer Bat attack him, but he easily deals with them using his Shadow Valkyrie. He then defeats Jiro and Maro Maro too, leaving Shu paralyzed in fear and looking completely helpless. However, he doesn't finish the job as he leaves the scene to have an audience with his boss Nene. He leaves the twins in charge of finishing things here. Shu looks completely helpless here as the people who could defeat the two clowns are already down and out, and he has no way of protecting himself and his friends. But somehow he manages to use that fear and overcome it, leading to him manifesting his blue dragon and having full control over it, leading to him easily dealing with the twins. Now that all the problems are temporarily dealt with, the gang frees the citizens and meets the chief inspector of the Gibral army, a tall muscular man with an afro, Legolas. They are all then tasked with escorting him to the town since he's pretty much a coward. Episode 6. Now that they have been on this journey without any serious trouble for a while, the gang decides to do some R&R, as you can't fight anyone or anything on an empty stomach. So they all stop at a town for lunch. As they go into a restaurant, they meet a beautiful maid with, well, fat in all the right places. The gang arrives when she's getting harassed by two men, and this gives Shu a chance to become the hero as he saves her from them. She reveals her name to be Bouquet. She thanks everyone and tries to repay their kindness, as she's inherently a good person, but she's very clumsy and messes up everything much to everyone's annoyance. It is then that she's revealed to be a shadow user. She has a shadow called Hippopotamus. It is quite weak in combat, but it grants her the ability to shapeshift into anything. She also has the ability to become invisible, but the condition is that she has to strip stark naked to do that. Her clumsiness leads to her losing her job, and she then starts following our party, which annoys them quite a lot, as they constantly try to get away from her. How will the story unfold from this point on? Will Nene be defeated? What will happen when our crew faces the fearsome General Logi again? What about Zola and Jiro's past? All these questions and many more will be answered later on in the next few episodes of Blue Dragon. The end.